Yes, there we go. So it is gonna work. Okay, cool. Yes. Sweet. Yes. So now what I can do is I can just scroll through images left and right and just go through them. So it'll be like a slideshow, sort of. What I'm just doing is I'm just using transform here, so this way I can fit to window.
Bobby's asking if he may share the link to Cosmic Lettuce's channel.
Of course he can. I mentioned them in the last stream, and saying that they do great work, and I let them know that I did share their name, and when I get time, when I go back and editing the videos, I'm going to put their link in the description and everything too, so this way they have it. Because they're on from 9 to 10-ish, sometimes 10:30, every night. And they talk about everything. Whether it's stars, charts, objects in the sky, data, who discovered it, and whatnot. Sometimes they go outside and they actually measure photometry, which is like brightness of a star, and they actually... Mark D'Antonio did that a couple of times on Sky Tour Live Radio. He did that on his YouTube channel. So, it's really cool. It is really, really awesome. It's not going to fit in here, so I'm trying to... trying to make it... Oh, I could... So these are pulling up, so that's actually a good thing. That's great. So you're on delay for YouTube, but I'm just showing different objects here.
Okay.
Like the one that's up here now, that's the Blue Snowball Nebula.
I think I'm still getting the delay because oh wait, it just changed because
Yep.
I saw the Bat Nebula.
Yes,
and then
yes, that was the bat, and then this is the Blue Snowball. That's that little blue dot.
Okay.
This was taken 4 years ago, when I was still like in the midst of like doing astronomy. So this was like a 20-second exposures, took like 10.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very rudimentary, very small, very little, but that was like very small. The next one that's coming up here, and again, it's a 19-second delay, so or maybe even a 12-second delay in general, but the next image that's up here is called the Sombrero Galaxy. And this one was taken 5.5 years ago. And this was taken with a Canon T3i out in North Java, New York. But you can see that the star trail is only because I was using a CG4, so this was taken a long, long, long time ago. So that's a pretty cool one. I mean, it was...
No, it is, yeah.
And I think this one was, if I remember correctly, 45-second exposure, I think. Mm-hmm. And I took about maybe 5 or 6 of them. I think. If I remember correctly.
Okay.
What it's doing is it's loading each one individually. So while I'm talking, about the object, it's loading the next one because it's loading from the cloud. So instead of me actually doing all of them and actually lagging the system because I have so many of them on here, it's going to take forever. So I'm loading them individually. The Venus were formed from several smaller planetoids, like the one that hit the Earth. Now, I have a question for you, and people in the chat. Don't look it up, people. What is the name of the body of whatever it was that hit Earth? What is the name of it? Do you know?
Which one that caused the moon, or it caused which one?
It caused the moon. It collided with Earth.
Oh man.
And what is the name of it?
And I feel like it's one of those things that when you say it, I'm gonna like kick myself because I feel like it's.
because I don't want to say it, and then people will be like, I was going to answer that. I was going to say that.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's good to give them a fair chance to answer the question.
Of course.
Yeah. I have a question. Well, I'm going to wait for this, but it's related to asteroids and comets and stuff. But it's because when Astro Live Channel had mentioned the crater, it made me think of something about the moon. So
Yeah.
I'll ask. Yeah, but I'll wait. Do you want me to wait? Do you want me to go ahead and ask the question while we're waiting for them, or?
We can wait for them, and you can ask the question. Chris Astro Channel says that it starts with a T. That is correct. It does start with a T. Can I buy a vowel? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do game shows. That's Ron will be.
No.
He'll love that. Yeah, he loves his game shows.
$1. Come on down. No, I'm just kidding. Now, while we're waiting, the image that I just pulled up here, that's also the sombrero, but this was taken a year after.
And what's the exposure on this one?
I think I'm looking at it here. This one was 50 seconds, and I think I took about 4 or 5 of these. So I didn't take many of these. These were taken again in North Java, which is a yellow zone for light pollution. So much better than where I'm at. So it's not bad.
Wait, did you take that from the same location you took the other one, or
Yes.
is this a different?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I just did was I went there like 2 days, like they were split, and then got the same object both days. And one was close up with a 6-inch, and then this one was with a 4-inch. So it was a wider field.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, Justin got it.
Congratulations, Justin.
But I will take Charles though, because Charles added an R in there, so that's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
He got it.
So yeah, maybe Charles did get it.
He says I mixed the catastrophes.
We might have to have a legal battle to solve this one. But
That's right.
yeah.
This was the finalized image of the sombrero. And I actually put the date, the time, how many I took, where I got it from, total exposure, the mount, and then also here what I'll do is I'll zoom it in here, and then I'll move it down so you can see it, because it's there we go. So then you can see it.
Oh yeah.
So you can get an idea of what it is, and then a close up is that. Again, this is taken 5 years ago, so this is like what people will do, like when they go out to a dark sky site. I bet if I get this today, it would just put it to shame. But it's just always cool to look back at roots and always back to look at what you got and what you can get. Now the next one that's coming up, they take about 35-40 seconds to go through.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's the starfish cluster. This one's a recent image. This one I think I took probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, nice.
So
wait, I don't know if am I seeing the right one or there's?
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah, because there's about a 12-second delay, so that's why I usually wait about 6 seconds after it comes up, so this way you'll be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the starfish. It looks nothing like a freaking starfish. Nothing. Not even close. I don't know where they get starfish out of this. I mean, maybe if you tilt your head to the side, maybe. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know where the hell they got starfish from. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's interesting. And I think the starfish, oh my god, I forgot the name of the object. It would be like starfish, I think it's like M26, M28, something, M29, something like that. It's M something.
Okay.
Now the next one that's coming up is the Sunflower Galaxy. This one I know is M63. Now this one was unprocessed. This was just solely, I wanted to stack it, see what it looked like, and then end it. So you're going to see some hot and cold pixels.
Mm-hmm.
But you can definitely see the outer lanes, which is like right here. You can, like I'm putting the mouse around it. and you can actually see some of the detail around it. So again, this one was unprocessed. I just took all these images and just threw them in a folder.
Okay.
And some are processed, some are unprocessed, some look like junk, some look really good. I figured I'd just put it together just to show everybody what kind of images I was taking. And then this one was taken in 2015. So just 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then this one was, because the next one that's going to come up is also processed. So it's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
So you can get a little bit more detail. So it's,
I see, yeah.
this one's called Sunflower 2. Yeah, Charles says connect the dots.
Okay, so my question about the craters, well, now it seems way off subject because we've moved on. So when Astro Live Channel made the comment about the crater, I think in Mexico, he said, I was curious. I know this is kind of a bit of on the conspiracy side, but about the moon, is it true there's some inconsistencies about the depth of the craters because of there's certain impact craters that are huge and small and they all happen to be about the same depth, and they're like, how is it that something so huge can hit it and make such a big crater and be, I mean, the circumference I should say is huge, but it have the same depth as a much smaller one? Have you heard this or no?
Sort of. I know they were talking about it on P&K Science. They were actually going through some of the actual craters, and they were going through and they were asking the question. And I think P&K Science they answered it, but I can't remember what
did they?
said. I think they did. I can't remember what Keith said.
Was it about lava or no? It was like,
yeah, I think so. He was talking about something about like a rebound or something like that, and how it retracts. I can't remember.
okay.
It was about 4 or 5 days ago when he had a stream, and somebody asked that question. And
Oh wow.
yeah, somebody was asking the same identical question about like the depth and why bigger ones and smaller ones, and they couldn't figure out why. And some were asking the question, what is the depth of this one? And then just like, I don't freaking know. And they're like, how big is it? And I'm like, I don't know. Look it up.
Yeah.
And then of course I hate it when they go through it, and then the person asks the question, what's the name of that one? There's thousands of craters. How the hell am I supposed to know?
This is true.
There's so many of them, and there's like ones that range anywhere from like 400 feet to like 20 miles. I don't freaking know.
Oh gosh. Have they shown any images yet from the dark side of the moon? The Chinese rover
I don't
or something?
think so. I haven't really followed it over the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that they did start growing stuff.
Growing stuff?
Did you know? You didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't. No, how did I miss this?
They put cotton seeds inside the actual rover.
Oh my gosh.
And they were growing cotton inside the rover. Now, of course, it's oxygen and temperature controlled and everything, but they were growing it. I thought it was super cool, and they showed the first picture ever of it growing, and I thought it was so cool.
It's pretty dope.
It really is. Absolutely incredible. I'm sure other people have seen it, but they haven't taken any pictures of what the actual dark side looks like.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting in how they can do that, because with the Apollo missions, when they actually went through the dark side of the moon, they lost communication with the Apollo missions.
Mm-hmm.
So how can a rover go on there and still communicate with Earth? I don't get that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody can answer that in the chat, because I sure as hell don't know.
Unless they have a cell phone tower that we don't know about. I'm joking. Please know that I'm joking.
It could be Transformers. You know, the dark of the moon.
Yeah.
China could have sent silkworms. Oh, that's true. You know, this afternoon I was on break today, and I was watching a movie called I Am Legend. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've seen that one. That's with Will Smith,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, you know, where the people, you know, I'm not going to spoil the movie if anybody hasn't seen it, but it's been out for like 10 years or 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they find a cure for cancer, and then it backfires. I mean, to put it in perspective, what would happen if they sent something to the moon and brought it back and then brought a parasite or brought something from over there and infects everybody. I don't mean to scare anybody on the stream.
No, of course. Yeah.
But think about that. Think about that. Or God forbid, you bring something, and they talked about this too, you bring something to the moon and then you bring over like bacteria on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And then it mutates or does something really weird.
Yeah.
And then creates like life form on the moon. And then it evolves. I mean, just saying, it got me thinking. I was just like, man, I watched that movie. I'm like, maybe that could happen. I don't know.
Killer cockroaches from outer space.
It could happen.
Right? Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be sad to see a little spaceship coming down and this little cockroach and it's like, die! I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Now, that's a movie. That would be a great movie.
That would definitely be a movie. Oh my gosh.
Now, the next image that comes up here, because it takes a while, it's actually taken longer than I thought. This is what you call the sun.
Okay,
And this was taken in 2013. The next one is the sun again, but this is just in a different color. I just switched it up, and then what I did was I took the background and made it white.
Okay.
But again, you can see the sunspots, and if you look at the top, and I'm going to zoom it in. And I'm going to go to the top here. There we go. And then zoom out.
James was saying that it's a cycle of 13 years.
Yes.
I think in activity. Okay.
Right, it's between 11 and 13 years is what's called solar maximum and solar minimum. But I also heard, and I don't know if this is true, but sometimes it's rare, but the sun every like 10,000 years or whatever, 5,000 years, it will actually go through a rare bare spot. And it could last 50, 60, 70 years. Where it just completely misses a few cycles. I've heard that. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that.
Speaking of cycles, aren't we due for a magnetic pole shift on Earth?
Oh, God.
Aren't we due?
People have been talking about that for God knows how many years.
I know, yes.
They're like, oh my God, the poles are going to switch in 2012.
Yeah.
It's the end of the world. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Did you hear about the one about the gravity and how we were... Oh, this one blew my mind. Of how, like, oh, God. So, if you're looking at the Milky Way face on, okay? So, Milky Way is horizontal, okay? And the solar system is just a little bit above the plane, okay? So, like, you... And as it's going down, it's going to go below the Milky Way, the threshold. So when it hits that line, gravitational will fling off into space. I'm not kidding. This is what people were talking about. Like the gravity would be like all altered or something. Like if you go right below, and they were talking about that. I don't know. There's so many hypotheses. The world's going to end in 2012. The world's going to end in 2016. Y2K. I don't know. There were so many things that people were making up that it never really happened. I don't know what the next doomsday is going to be. I have no idea.
I'm sure we'll hear something in a couple years that because of the translation from the Gregorian calendar to this, we were wrong about this date, and the new date is now, like, you know, like, I'm pretty sure someone's going to pop up like, oh, this is the new date. So I won't be surprised.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the sun. If you look at it carefully, you can see the actual, like, right up here. You can see a little bit of whiteness up here. You can see a little bit of whiteness there. That's actually the actual surface of the sun.
Okay.
That is really cool. And then the next object, it'll come up in a second here. It's going to take time. This was the actual first object I ever got with my QHY-9. This was taken about a little bit more than 4 years ago. So I've had this QHY-9C CCD camera for just a little bit over 4 years. And this was the real true first image I ever took with this. And this is what's called the little dumbbell.
The little dumbbell.
Yes.
That's cute.
Yep, M76. And this actually turned out really well. This is one of those things that actually was like a difference maker. Like, you know, you see it and you're like, I don't know, is this going to be a good thing? Is this going to be a bad thing? And then I looked at this and I was just like, yep, I like it. This is mine. And then the stats. I know what your question's going to be. But the question I thought you were going to ask me.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what you thought my question was. Okay, so you read my mind.
That bright star.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you were going to ask me, what's that bright star there?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Hey, Chris, what? Can we go back? You know that you saw in that image he was showing. I saw a really bright star. What was that bright star?
What is that bright star?
Yeah, what is that?
Well, I am so glad you asked me that question. It's funny how you asked. If that star, that one is called, get your pen ready, because it's HD 10498. It is a 6.66 magnitude star, so it's very, very faint. It seems bright in the image only because I had I think this was a 6-inch or 8-inch. Hold on, let me see. 8-inch. So this was taken with an 8-inch reflector. So it looks really big.
Yeah, it does.
But it's not. I actually took this with a 4-inch before, and it was like a quarter of the size of this.
Why did that happen only on that star and not any other surrounding stars?
Because the surrounding stars are like 11th magnitude.
Okay, gotcha.
So, like, there's a double star. This one right here, I'm gonna wait for you so you can see where the actual hand is. It's just a little bit to the left of that star. Okay?
Okay.
That star that's to the left of it, it's like a double star. There's like two stars next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 13th magnitude stars.
Okay.
Okay? And then something like these ones, like the little triangle that's next to it, to the left of it, those are probably like 18th and 19th magnitude stars.
Oh.
Those are like beyond fainter than Pluto.
Oh, wow.
So those are super, 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 super dim.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to get something with an 8-inch, like say Sirius or Vega or Procyon or something like that, this thing would be like bright up the entire view.
And did you say how long this exposure was? Did you say that?
I did not, but I can tell you right now, and it's actually on your screen here now, which is great, so you'll be able to see it. It was
fantastic.
It was taken on Wednesday, September 24th, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It was the red zone, which is here. M76, the Little Dumbbell Nebula. I took 21 at 110 seconds. That is so random for me. I don't do that anymore because I think that's really stupid. It's like, I took 110 seconds. Well, that's 1 minute and 50 seconds. Real dumb, but whatever. That's what I did. 38 and a half minutes I took. I took 9 darks, 18 biases, and 7 flats.
Mm-hmm.
That's calibration frames. We went over that on a few episodes ago. And then what I can do is I can make it... There we go. And then it was taken with the CG5 mount. This is the mount prior to what I have now. I have the AVX now. But this was with the CG5. It was with an 8-inch Celestron Newtonian. And it was with my QHY with a coma corrector. And then the temperature was negative 18.4. But you can't see that because I cropped the bottom of it off.
Oh.
Here, let me see if I can... Yeah, move it over. There you go. Now you'll be able to see. Another plow truck! There are plow trucks everywhere! My God, they're just everywhere! It's just snowing like crazy out here. That's crazy!
As the last time